No? Assalamu alaikum. Now please. إن الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا. Dear brothers and sisters, as we have the talk on the subject, the significance of religious festival contrary to the dangers of the pagan custom. Now if you have any questions and clarifications or criticism what I have spoke for the last hours, so inshallah you are most welcome. If you need any additional informations or anything that you like to contribute, inshallah. Yes, brother.
I wonder how we should encourage our children to not make this bad things, like they are knocking on the doors and say trick or treat. So I wonder how should we encourage our children to not to stop the thing.
I think the brother has asked the question that as a Muslim we have responsibility to protect our children. So how can we encourage or make prevention in order to see that our children are not engaged in such activities? As I told you, most of this time when there is a festivals of these pagan customs and festivals, we know there is a vacations or the holidays here, the semester breaks. So what we can do, the Muslims, we must engage on Islamic center. Like today we are engaged in the mosque. And we should see through that our children, their friends and their colleagues should be the one who is a believer mostly. And in order to prevent them on this time, especially time of Halloween, time of Christmas, the time of Easter holiday, as I was telling, we should have a series of activities within the Muslims community, within the Muslims organizations, so that all the communities they get together. Like today I meet you. If we have children, they can also have a similar gathering, and they can have circumstances where they can also make some sports, make some activities. Whatever, they must engage on something. If they are not engaged, they are in home, they will meet those children who will come in and knock on the door. They will see the children are walking outside, putting the mask on their faces, carrying the thorns and other things. So it is a human nature to see and practice the things which you see very often. So we have to prevent them intellectually, not by forcing them or by telling them some terrible things, because they will not understand the things. We have to understand, and we have to create the atmosphere where we have a wise substitute, a wise alternative. Like if, we have many Islamic organizations and cultural centers and the mosque. So we have a day-long activities for different groups of people, for the elders, for the youngest, for the parents, for the children. We always escape children to engage on activities. Reciting the Quran is not an activity that they should do all over the day. There should be a part of recreation, a pure recreation that gives them the message that is true, and they should also explore those things in their lives. So like, I know of some examples like ISNA doing in United Kingdom. There is IERA, they have programs for the children. I mean, if we have 20 computers even in your home, just play something that is Islamic, as you know. Either from Masad TV or from Peace TV or from Huda TV or from Islamic programs that they are inclined to see, they are interested in. Because we must find and we have to do research in which field our children are interested in and which field we should derive them, so that they also find a way to get out from the system. And Islamic school is very important, especially living in the West. Islamic school, because if you teach home one things and if they learn one thing in school, then there is contradictions. Because the children in school, some of the others, the teachers, I know that most of the schools, they will start to focus on these things which is coming. So draw a picture of Halloween or a vampire or something, put a mask on your faces. So these things we have to promote in the school, not to teach our children these things. If we take like Muslims, I know most of our Muslim brothers and sisters who are working especially in the West, it is very hard for us to take a vacation in our festivals, like in the Eid al-Adha. Though it is a holiday, in the next Sunday it will be a holiday, but in other days, we would like to work and earn money. That is our problem. We don't give concentration on what should we put. If we do not work for 2-3 days, how much we lose? We don't lose anything, but we gain. We gain from losing our morality, our moral conscience, our spirituality, our deen. So now the same way we as a parents have to understand. And before the parents, the learned man of the area, the imam, the organizations, the head, the chairman, they have to take initiative because they have the resources and they can exploit the resources. And the way that they promote in the media, we should also promote the media, the good things. Maybe it's a pamphlet going to every Muslim's home. Maybe it's a cartoon Islamic ways. They should learn the history of Nuh alayhi salam, history of Adam alayhi salam, history of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he was doing in childhood, or a cartoon, that is Islamic. Or a festival, or a games and a sports that they love to play. Okay, 5 children have a sports activity, athletics. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam encourages the young male and female to engage in activities like sports and games because they have a good physio. If you make a football match, no problem. See through that they are engaged on something that is not wrong. So we have to explore those ideas, being the elders, or aiding the community. So that is the responsibility we should do. If we live in a community where a vast majority are non-Muslim, then we have to see through, we switch into an area where there are Muslim neighbors and we do not have to face such a difficulty. And most important is the dawah. The way that they come and knock our door, we should also go and knock their door to see through. They also have some message from Islam. Have a small pamphlet, the origin of Halloween. Put it on their homes. At least some of them, maybe the intellect mind, they will read and they will also prevent their children. Invite your neighbors in our occasion, not in their occasion, like in Eid. Give them our foods and tell them, look, you had this festival last week. You know that these things we are not doing. Why? Explain to them. Give them some message. What is the Tawheed? Why we are preventing ourselves? And why we are telling you to enter into peace. We are not telling you to prevent something. You enter into peace. How? By this way. By neglecting the things that is a customs and that is engaged on something that is dangerous for you, for your children, for the generation in future. Look, what happened after 10 years? Now the Satan worshipping cult, they are sacrificing children. More than 215 last year. Because they believe, as I was telling you, they believe the blood of the children is pure and their Satan's God, it increased their power and they give them benefits through the Satan. This is their cult, this is their belief. So we must make an awareness intellectually. We must make arguments with the political debates, the intellectual debates, that look, these things, you must make standing positions that stop doing these things and propagating these things from the society. Because it is creating more and more problem. So our children, we have to make a strategy, a wise strategy, a wise alternative, not telling everything is haram, but see through okay, you do it, and you promote them to do it. Give them time. As a parents, father and mother especially, it's very important that we give them time. We understand them. What is their need? What they want? In which field he is? Maybe he is an expert in painting. So he will immediately do the painting of his things, what he saw. But show them what he should paint so that he gradually improve his skill, not by putting the humans and the animals, but by the nature, what is lawful for him. Wise alternative. So like this way we have to do research. We have to copy the others. The Muslim scholars who are doing vast researches in different parts of the world. In Cambridge, in UK, in Canada, in India. So we have now the research organizations who are promoting wise alternatives. See through which one fits to our children. Not only everything will fit. We have to see through which field it fits with him, with his interest or her interest. Then we have to gather the Muslims community and let the 20 children play together. They will forget everything because they are playing, having food, having fun, Islamically, not un-Islamically. That's why the Islam says about the unity. The congregation has their unity also, because they will know that this is my fellow Muslim brother, this is my fellow Muslim sister, and these are the things we should do, and they will rise up on that environment. If you have a school, Islamic school environment, then you will not get those things in the home. In the home, if you have television, do not start watching movies of vampires and Halloween, because that will create the problem to him. We may be taking fun, but that fun is a permanent damages to their brain, to their psychology. So we have to prevent ourselves. We have to choose wise things, so that they will learn what is wise. I hope by these many ways, there are many ways we can prevent this. So we have to nurture the things, and we have to know which things fits on the environment, which things fits in the culture here, and how we can make our way to get out of them. And we have to raise our children based on everything what they need: entertainment, recreation, education, proper knowledge, and gathering. They should access everything. Mosque is the place, the best place. This was the place for cultural center at the lifetime of the Prophet. We make a sports activity inside the mosque. Why? Because where they should go, the children. They have no place to. This is the center to create an atmosphere for them, for everyone, for the women, for the men, for the olds and the youngs. So I hope, inshallah, we try our level best. Here, at least I know that we have these organizations and other organizations, Sunni Center and other Islamic cultural centers. You have taken many initiatives, but their initiative should be more and more. We should put more time on dawah, on making research what is the need of the time. And then we can make a strong society where we can encourage the parents, the leaders of the community, to understand the nature of the dunya and to understand the nature what we should practice. So inshallah, by this way, if we put our intention, our efforts, our intellectuals, and then if we progress gradually, Allah will give barakah, and He will make it possible that our children and we also save from practicing the wrong things, inshallah. Yes, dear brothers and sisters, if you have more clarifications. Yes, brother. Little English.
What is different between Quran and Bible?
What is the difference?
Yes.
The difference, in one word, the difference between the Quran and the Bible is that the Quran is the book and the final revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to mankind. The Quran says in many places, the surah that I was studying, Surah Al-Ibrahim, chapter 14, verse 1, 2 and verse 52, the last verse, Allah the Almighty says that this is the book, Alif Lam Ra. This is the book that we have revealed to thee, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that you may bring the mankind from darkness to light, and you may guide them and you may show them what is piety, what is righteousness, and what is the truth. And the difference between here, the difference between the Quran, nowhere in the Bible it says that it is a book sent by God Almighty to mankind, but it is the belief of the Christendom, the Christian churches, denominations. They claim that this book is the book of God. They claim that. The title, the Bible, is not there inside the Bible. It's only a cover. Bible means a collection of books. But the difference between collection and the difference between what we have heard from the Quran about the Torah, about the Zabur, about the Injil, is not this one what they claim. This one first produced in English language in 1611 by the honor of King James in England. What revelation was given to Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, Allah the Almighty is very clear. That revelation and this revelation, that was Torah and that was Injil and this is the Quran. The message is nothing different. The Sunnah, the tradition is nothing different. Because we find from the Bible itself, because there is something that is similar from the Quran. What is Quran is mentioning to analyze the Bible, because we understand the religion better and we can talk to them. So the key is here. In Surah Al-Imran chapter 3 verse 64, Allah says, Qul ya ahlal kitab, tell to the Jews and the Christians, ta'alaw, come, ila kalimatin sawain bainana wa bainakum. Let us come in common terms as between you and us. So the Christian claims that this is our kalam, and we Muslim claim this is our kalam. So now we say, okay, let us analyze what is inside your book, let us analyze what is inside our, and let us come in a common things, what is common between you and me and us. The first things, what should we look for? Allah na'budu illallah, that we worship none but the one and one Almighty God, who is out of any image, out of any picture. وَلَا نُشْرِكَ بِهِ شَيْئًا. We do not associate partners with Allah. وَلَا يَتَّخِذَ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ. And we erect not, and we select not among ourselves anyone, any patron or anyone as a Lord beside Allah. Meaning, here any human being as Allah. Either Isa alayhi salam, either Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, either Ibrahim alayhi salam or Musa alayhi salam. We do not choose any of the prophet or any of the hero besides Allah. And Allah the Almighty says that if they turn back after you have proclaimed them the message, then say that we have submitted our will to the will of Allah, that we are Muslim. So the Quran says there was revelation, the Torah, the Zabur, the Injil, to Moses, to David, to Isa alayhi salam. May Allah be pleased with them all. But this is not the revelation, but this is the revelation what they claim that this is the book of God. So that is the main difference. And the other difference is that, this is the book and the authority of the Muslims. And this is supposed to be the book of authority for the Christians. Unfortunately, as I was telling you, many things are there which is common to us about the Tawheed, about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is also mentioned in here that yes, there is a prophet to come who will guide the humanity towards the truth. But unfortunately, the Christian world, they do not follow this because of their own interest. And fortunate or unfortunate, alhamdulillah, Muslims, we are strict to the Quran and the Sunnah, so that we follow the guidelines, the most wisest one. I think these are some similarities and some things about the Quran and the Bible. That is the book of the Christianity, and this is the book of the Muslims, what we claim. You have more? Yes, sister.
May I just add a comment that you were saying?
Yes.
That as the Quran and as a Muslim, we take the Shahada and we say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. There are two parts of the Shahada. One is Allah and in the Bible it is written that Muhammad will come.
Yes.
But they don't believe Muhammad.
No.
That's the biggest difference. And that's the difference in the basically, when we come nearer to each other, when we say this thing, the Prophet is a prophet and your prophet, they don't accept that. That becomes the difference also, very big difference.
Yeah.
The faith is not complete before
No,
join the two.
Together, yes. I think you understand. Yes, that is the most core concept of Tawheed. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. That two things mixed together is make the Tawheed. So the difference between the Christendom, they do not accept what is inside the Bible. But we accept what is the message. We say this is the book of Allah and that is the book of the Prophet ﷺ, what his traditions, and we accept all of this as being a divine revelation. So and we follow that. But unfortunately the Christians, they don't follow their own scriptures. Jazakallah, sister. Do you have it? Yes, brother.
Just only one question. What about, I heard something that this guy who names by Paul. Yeah. This guy who is that guy, which mentioned in the Bible.
Okay, the brother was asking about one person named Saint Paul.
Yes.
Saint Paul, supposedly he was an enemy of the follower of Christ, but later on he claimed that he saw in a vision, meaning in a dream, that Isa alayhi salam came to him. He claimed in the Bible that he saw in a dream Isa alayhi salam came to him, and he says, "You are my disciple." Disciple means companion. In the lifetime of Isa alayhi salam, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, he was not among the companion of Isa alayhi salam. Neither he was a follower. He was an enemy. He was killing the Christians, early Christians. And then he claimed suddenly he saw Isa alayhi salam, and Isa alayhi salam told him to write books. And then he is the author of the more than 50% books of the New Testament. The Bible have got two parts. One is Old Testament, one is New Testament. The New Testament is everything what happens after Isa alayhi salam. They claim. And there are 27 books accepted by the whole Christendom. 27 books in the New Testament. Out of the 27 books, the 14 have been written by St. Paul. So he is the author of the 14 books. And the Bible is a collection of books, so that 14 books is the last chapters of the Bible. Philippians, Corinthians, Galatians to Revelation. These books are the books of St. Paul, and he claimed that Isa alayhi salam died for the sins of mankind. He claimed, not Isa alayhi salam claimed. He claimed that Isa alayhi salam died for the sin. He was resurrected, he was crucified. None of the early disciples have ever said these things unless long after the alleged crucifixion of Isa alayhi salam, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him up alive in the heaven, then these men claimed that he saw Isa alayhi salam in a dream. Now today you find in every church and denominations, they say that we meet Jesus at night or at church or at here or there. Now this is a sickness of the Christendom, and he contradicts, St. Paul, he contradicts what is the preaching of Isa alayhi salam. Whatever the preaching of Isa alayhi salam, they claim is there in the first four Gospels. Gospel of St. Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. These four Gospels, what they say is that there are words of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, they claim. But whatever Isa alayhi salam says, it contradicts the Paul 100 years after Isa alayhi salam. He contradicts Isa alayhi salam. Isa alayhi salam says, keep the commandment. Believe on the prophet coming after me. But St. Paul makes it easy for the Christendom that now you do not have to follow the commandments. You just believe that Isa alayhi salam died for your sin and your sin will be forgiven. So that is what St. Paul is. He was given title as a saint long after he died, because this title was given to a person who is holy. In early time his name was not Paul. His name was Saul. So Isa alayhi salam, he said, as he claimed in the Hebrew language, his name was Saul, but later on, because Saul is a Hebrew name, the Christian and the Rome, their words is Greek. They do not pronounce the word as what you call Saul. So the Saul became Paul. One of the disciple names was Peter, Isa alayhi salam, but Peter is an English name. His real name was Simon. Simon was one person name. Like Isa alayhi salam's name, they also changed. His name was Isha or Eheshua, classical Hebrew, because that's the name his mother kept for him. But they Latinized the name and they left up with Christ, because Christ is a Greek translation, Latinized form of Greek translation of the Hebrew word Messiah. How? It makes it easy for you. His original name was Isha Eheshua. His title was Messiah. Messiah means the anointed one, the one who is anointed. You know the massas. The kings and the priests, they were giving massas in their premises. So Isa alayhi salam, his title was Messiah. Now the Messiah means the anointed one. The Greek word for the anointed one is Christos. So the Christians see that Christos is a very big name. You know, Christos. How can be a man's name is Christos? Because that is a translation of his name, of his title. Messiah, anointed one, Christos. Now Christians do not like to pronounce Christos. They chop up the os and they left with Christ. You understand? Now that is their sickness of translating the name of the people. Now St. Paul also becomes, St. Saul becomes Paul, St. Simon becomes St. Peter, because Simon, he was rocking, you know, the person who rocked the people. Isa alayhi salam was telling to Peter that, Peter, thou art rock, you are Simon. Simon, thou art Cephas. Cephas means the one who is rock. Now the Hebrew word and Greek word, there is a difference. Rock, or the one who Cephas, in Greek it says Petros. Petros means the one who is rock, who is very lively, who is very, jolly, who makes everyone alive. So Petros become Peter. They cannot pronounce Petros. So they Latinize the form as a Peter. Like the same way, Saint Saul becomes Saint Paul, and he claimed to be the disciple of Christ. He saw a vision, Isa alayhi salam coming, telling him to write 14 books, and he contradicts Isa alayhi salam in every steps of his preaching. And he is the founder, according to Michael H. Hart. He wrote a book about the most 100 influential men in history. He is a Christian living in America, He published that book in 1986, and he says the founder of Christianity is not Isa alayhi salam, not Jesus Christ, but the founder of Christianity is Saint Paul. So actually the Christendom in the whole world, they are following the preaching of Saint Paul, not Jesus Christ or Isa alayhi salam. And that is the brief in short about Saint Paul. And his teachings is there, is recorded in the Bible. So we know that who is the person and what was his preaching. I hope I give you an illustration in short.
Just another question.
Yes, brother.
What about Nabi Isa? He was sent to the Jews only. That's the mission, isn't it?
Yes. I think if you read the Quran, Surah Al-Imran chapter 3, in verse 49 to verse 52, Allah the Almighty, He prescribed who was Isa alayhi salam. First of all, He confirmed that Isa alayhi salam was neither a Jew nor he was a Christian, but he was a Muslim. The disciple, the companion of Isa alayhi salam, was Muslim. And what was his mission? Surah Al-Anbiya, you know the Anbiya, chapter 21, is mentioned about the Anbiya. What was their message? In verse 25, Allah clears, all of the prophets, they came with the same message of Tawheed, believing one God and believing them as a prophet. So this was the kalima during the time of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Isa Rasulullah. And that is also the same in the Bible, in the words of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. If you go back to this particular one which I have, is the red letter Bible. Whatever Isa alayhi salam says, supposedly it is written in red. So in the first gospel, Gospel of Saint Matthew, in 2 chapters, chapter 10, verse 5 and 6, Isa alayhi salam is telling to his disciple that go ye not into the way of the Gentile. Gentile means the non-Jews. Go rather to the lordship of the house of Israel. In another chapter, in chapter 15, verse 11, 12, Isa alayhi salam again repeated the same things. That I have sent not but for the lordship of the house of Israel. Meaning I have only sent to Jews. And his preaching during his lifetime, according to the Bible and according to the Quran, it confirms that he was a messenger sent to the children of Bani Israel. Only for the Jews and Christians, and his message was supposedly be preached till the time of the next prophet to come. And he prophesied, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu in the Bible, in the fourth gospel, Gospel of St. John, that he was telling his disciple in chapter 14, verse 2 to 14, verse 16, verse 2 to 14, that I have yet many things to say unto you, but you cannot bear them now. Howbeit when he, the Spirit of truth will come, referring to Prophet Muhammad, he will guide you into all truth. He will not talk for himself. What he shall hear from God, he will talk. And he will show you the things to come, and he will tell that Jesus Christ was a prophet. Now that things Quran confirms. Quran also says in Surah Al-Saf, chapter 61, verse 5 and 6, Isa alayhi salam tells his community that, O Jew, I have come only for you, and I am giving you a glad tidings of a messenger coming after me. His name is Ahmad. The synonyms of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is what is the reference from the Bible and the Quran. But unfortunately, as the sister was telling, the bulk of the Christendom, they do not accept Prophet Muhammad as a prophet. Most of them, and many of them during the time of the Prophet Muhammad when he proclaimed, and we know the history, they accepted Islam. But the prejudices are there, they have their own choice. The Quran says, if these people who are the people of the book, they have given the knowledge what is the truth, but they have deviated from the reality, from the books. So Allah chose another nations, and Allah's guidance is there. Allah says, this book will never be corrupted. Inna nahnu nazzalna al-zikra wa inna lahu lahafizun. But this book is fabricated. The Quran is repeatedly mentioned. What we given to them, they have changed it by themselves. And we have the proof with us also from the Bible. So they are not living with now anymore with the commandments of Allah. They are now living with some fabrications from here and there. Still the truth is there. If they follow the Quran, the solution is for them. So our message to the whole Christians and the Jews is just to follow their scriptures and come back to Quran to understand the last and final revelation, and to understand what is peace, and to practice what is peace, and to attain salvation in the hereafter. I hope do you have other questions?
Another question.
Yes, brother.
It's just related with the question before, and it's about in this country we're living, from Sweden, they are Christian. But as we know, Nabi Isa was sent to the Jews. As the Quran says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Al-Imran, how can we understand that people who is not usually the children of the Israel, they claim that they are Christians?
How can we understand?
How can we understand that they are saying they are Christians, but they are not the children of the Israel?
I mean, in order to understand, for example, I talk about now Muslims, so that we can understand. Any human being, if he says that he believes in the kalama, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, now we know there are many divisions in Islam. And maybe in someone's eye, he is doing shirk. But can we tell that he is not a Muslim? No, we cannot say that. Because it is not our right. We do not know his intention, we do not know what knowledge he gets from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he is the one who will guide him and he will ask him. The same way we should understand the Christians. In the Christian world today, there is a census form. You know, every child when they're born, you have to fill the form to scat. And then there is an option called religion. What religion that child belongs to. When you grow up, you have to fill the form. What religions you belongs to. Now most of them, by the willful, they write Christian. So when Allah refers to them, Allah says, Ya Ahlal Kitab. Allah says Yahud and Nasara. Yahud means the Yehudi, Nasara means the Christians. So the Jews and the Christians refer to these verses. Whoever claims that he is a Christian, we should take him as a Christian. Because how can we know that he is a Christian or not? He may be following partly of the Bible or partly of the teaching of Christ, but he claims that he is a Christian. So he says, look, what is the meaning of Christian? So maybe they will give you a definition. I follow Christ or I follow Christianity. So now then we have an argument. How we know? We do not have to know. They will recognize us as a Christian. Because they are very bold. If you know someone, even who is an atheist, or who is a socialist, or who is a humanist, he will claim that, look, I am a humanist. So okay, what is your practice and belief? So he will give us some belief that, look, this is what I believe. And if he is a Christian, someone claim, he will tell, look, this is what I believe. If they are a Jew, he will say, look, I believe in the Old Testament. We can ask them, what is the Old Testament? So they will give the Old Testament. I say, we accept you as a Jew. But now, then we have a process to talk to him, to show him the guidance. Because wherever you go, there are guidance. If someone says, I am a Hindu, there is no literal definition of Hindu or Christian. Christian, there is no definition who is Christian. Because God Almighty never says in the Bible that you are a Christian. And Allah didn't say Christian, Allah says Nasara. And the people of the book, who follows the book of the early scriptures. Now, we know this is a fabricated form of the early scriptures. This is fabricated 600 years before Prophet Muhammad. And Isa was speaking in Hebrew. And the message we can understand from the Quran, because Quran is the Furqan, is the criteria to judge between what is wrong and right. So Allah says, let us come in a common terms between us and you. So referring, there is something common between the other scriptures. I mean, intellectually, He knows, Allah knows His best. And Allah the Almighty also says in Surah Al-Hashr, chapter 59, verse 7, that they should know thee as a prophet, as an ummi, as an illiterate prophet, and the name of that prophet is still mentioned in their own scriptures. So now we find in the, what is Allah is telling? Allah is telling that they will find the name of the Prophet Muhammad is still in their scriptures. So we find still today the name of Prophet Muhammad is there in their scriptures, referring to these people who were giving revelations before. But they have been deviated, not want to follow the law of God, not want to follow the Spirit, what is the message. Now they have deviated. So we have to take everyone who claims himself to be a Jew or a Christian, because then we have the options to talk. If he says he's an atheist, okay, we have an argument to talk. Because he's not following the scriptures, he follows something else. He don't follow God. But if you ask any Christians, any bishops, they say, look, this is my book of authority, the Bible. And I call myself as a Christian. So we said, in general sense, we accept you as a Christians, as a people of the book. Not necessarily to be in Palestine, because Christianity expanded. after the alleged crucifixion of Isa alayhi salam. And Islam also expanded. Not necessarily a Muslim have to be an Arab. Anyone can be Muslim in any part of the world. So it's like that. I can claim myself as a Muslim. Anyone can claim himself as a Muslim. Maybe not a good or bad. He may be not practicing Muslim, but still he is a Muslim, and we cannot say that we are not a Muslim. So we have no right to tell someone, you are not a Christian. Because he may be believing in some part of the Bible, not the major part. So I hope in that way we have a way to argue if that man or that woman is claiming that I am a Christian or I am a Jew. Everyone have a religion. No one writes in the census form that he do not have a religion. He is an atheist. But he will say in public that he is an atheist, that's different. But in the census form, that's how the world statistics are, that there are 2.1 billion Christians in the world. How? Within the form of census form. They write in their religion, okay, he is a Christian. He's not a practicing, but he's a Christian, because his ancestry is Christian. So like this way we can understand them. And they have a route, they follow till 1999, the Sweden and most of the Scandinavian, they were under the church, under the banner of church, and there were legal systems made by churches, and everyone in the society, they were engaged in the churches. But after 1999, they have departed from the church. So anyway, the others, they are the people of the book that is referred by the Quran and the Hadith. And it's the same as it was the time of the Prophet ﷺ. It was the same after the demise of the Prophet ﷺ. So we have no confusion on understanding who is a Jew and Christian. I hope I illustrate the question. Does any brothers and sisters have any questions? So, yes, sister.
But the Bible has been written over and over again in different things and add in from other people too. Because I was Christian before, when Christian Catholic, but and I saw the difference in every Bible I had. It was different in every part of it.
Yes.
So it's not real. It's like a
No, it's not the real
comic
book.
book.
Yes.
It's a comic without picture.
Yes. No, that was I was telling. It was fabricated. Fabricated means is people they change the text what they like.
It's like if I want to say something beautiful in the book, I can put it in.
Yeah, you put it in.
It's like that. But when I didn't go to my Catholic church and I didn't practice for 20 years anything.
No, alhamdulillah.
Open the Quran Bible.
Alhamdulillah, we have the sisters who knows more than me, because he was a Catholic Christian, and we know Catholics, they were more practicing and had more knowledges. So even everyone's in the Christendom, they even know today that the Bible that is present today is not the actual form as it was before. Because every year there is a changes in the Bible. You will find changes. Either the translation, somebody claims this translation, this is a King James version, there is a New International Version, there is a version which they call the RSV, the Revised International Version. And the text, what is there, the message is completely contradictory to one. And there are more than 2,410 different translations of the Bible. Not of these two are the same. King James Version 1611 is changed than 2011 version, because there are changes in the context. So the sister is more right that this Bible is changing every year. That is why I say we cannot refer to the book that fully this was given to Isa alayhi salam or Musa alayhi salam. Partly of it is maybe there, about some things.
Like in the small part,
Yes.
But when a friend of mine, before I became Muslim, he asked me to read something from the Quran about this tower who went down. And it stood in the Bible long before it happened. And I was like, because of the sun, the earth was not very good for them. But why they collapsed these towers, even if it was some help with some people, but it was about them that should collapse. So I was blown away. So why I found myself really more about this Islam and how I came into it. I read more about the Quran.
Alhamdulillah. Allah, yes, sister.
Just wanted to say, sister, that this also shows the proof that Quran is from Allah. Because if there are people, if you get religion to people, people will change.
Yeah.
Because my intention or my voice will be different, yours will be different. So if everybody of us will try to write the book of God, then it will be different.
And the Christian also claim that this book have 40 different authors. Who is the author of the book? Not God, but 40 different authors.
Yes.
And who is the author of the book? Neither Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, neither any Muslim, neither any genius can produce one. So it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have the pure form, what was revealed, exactly the same form, the pronunciations, the understanding, exactly the clear. So alhamdulillah, Allah guided you, and inshallah, through you, inshallah, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah guide the other brothers and sisters of humanity who is living in the society, inshallah. Inshallah. Yes, brother.
It was also people from Quraysh. They was very poetic. They wrote very powerful poems, and even they couldn't match the Quran verses.
That was a challenge, yeah.
Yes.
Challenge that was given.
Yes, that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He put challenges everyone. If you know that in Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 23-24, that if you do not believe that this book is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, produce a book or a surah or a chapter somewhat similar like the Quran, somewhat similar. And Allah says, فَإِلَّمْ تَفْعَلُوا, you cannot. And for a surety you cannot. And then the message is coming, فَاتَّقُوا النَّارِ, fear the fire. And Allah says also in Surah An-Nisa chapter 4 verse 82, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ, if you do not consider the Quran with care, that it is from Allah, and if it is not from Allah, you will find there is many discrepancies, there are many contradictions. So nowadays, today we find in the Bible, there are, according to Plain Truth magazine, there are no less than 50,000 errors in the Bible. 50,000. One says this, another says this. One says the earth will collapse, the other says the earth will not collapse. The sun had the light, the moon had the light, the first chapter. And there are endless number of contradictions, scientific contradictions, which nobody can practice today. So that is why the Quran will challenge, it gives a challenge that if this book is not from Allah, you will find many contradictions. And that challenge was there at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. There were poets who were genius. And the Quran's first come through the challenge. That the verse that I was reciting from the beginning of the talk, about the verse of Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse 80 and 81 and 82. That Allah the Almighty, He says it very clearly, that وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَهَقَ الْبَاطِلَ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. That now the truth has come, let the falsehood perish. Either anything it perish. Because the nature of falsehood is bound to perish. And the verse continues. That وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءُ رَحْمَةً لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That Allah has revealed the Quran, and this is the healings for the one who believe in it. And we have the proof that how the Quran changes the barbaric Arabs. This Quran is changing us. Every moment is changing us. We are being derived guidelines from the Quran to derive directions of our life. So alhamdulillah, this is the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He guided us, and He guided many of our brothers and sisters of humanity to Islam. And we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah guide the humanity towards paradise, and may Allah give us that azr to carry the message of peace to mankind. And we inshallah will meet, and we will talk inshallah in more details in the coming lecture. And jazakumullah khairan for your participation. May Allah reverse you all. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
Last month, during this lecture,
He told me what is disabled. She is totally so she lost everything. But I lost her husband tonight on Tuesday. I'm staying with so stand like this and try to raise my shoulder. Oh, yeah, we take 24. Because I can't just flip around that. So I just took 24 like everyone else did. And when it comes to this holiday with the eggs and stuff, it's okay. They already done.
Then you got married. See that?
Yeah.
You know the background.
Yeah. It feels like a lot
The rabbit, you know the rabbit.
because for me, it's like they take has something to dead. They found that the two empty. And it was really silly for her. But I never, and I forgot because I was bone crackling and I lost myself so many times a long time before I was
Did you?
No. And I didn't open
It happened to me too. I didn't know about this unless last year. I said, look, I must make a research on what is the source of this. Then I went to this encyclopedia, then I tried to search history.com. Then I tried to about the origin of pagan festivals. Then I saw the history is very clear. It is very much like what all of these have a group and they are a mixture of the things and just don't tell these things. Because in the Bible it's very clear, who is a hospital group. The shepherds in the boat, they were in the field with the shepherds. And that's what the shepherd, he cannot be in the heat of the winter. He should be in the heat of the summer. So Quran also says the dates are the dates. It was right. So the Mary, the mother of Jesus, she was told by God, you take the bath the days before. And Bible also says Jesus Christ was baptized by the Jordan River. Now in winter, if you see dua for pray for your coming baby. God guide the baby. You will be in good health.
Yeah. Pray for that. She lost the first one. That's now they died. So we pray hard. Even my friend in Baghdad is praying very hard. He knows how much they want. So
That child will be good for you in the day of judgment.
when I hold this child for her, I will say, oh my God, I want to protect this baby so much.
God will, inshallah. Everything comes from God. You keep faith. God will have a good child.
Yes, this is a problem with the Arabic, but I teach in English. Yeah. I take the sentence I have in English, and I should give it something in Swedish. She can take it in Swedish. She with the prayer. But in English, something else. I can define it. Because I have that she gave me. Because I want to pray in Arabic. And standing like this. Am I right? Am I wrong? I want to be right side.